Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Beginner's Basics Guide to using Adobe Express. Adobe Express is a pretty big and comprehensive platform that you're going to be able to do a lot of things with. So this is really just a Beginner's Basics Guide to get you started as you start working in your portfolio. So you should have already received an email inviting you to view the Honors Portfolio template. And following the instructions in the email or on the sticker that you received, you can create a duplicate file and rename it and share it with us. If you did not receive an email or a sticker and you need help doing so or doing any of this, please let us know and we can help you get into that. What I've done here is created a duplicate file of the portfolio template. So now I have my very own portfolio to work in. I renamed it template tutorial for the purposes of this video, but when you rename yours, you're going to want to name it your first name, your last name, honors program portfolio. Once you're in and have your own portfolio to work in, to edit, and to make your own project, one of the first things that you're going to want to know how to do is how to add a new page. We put a lot of pages on here so that you have content and ideas to work with, but you're probably going to want to work with a fresh slate. So what you're going to do is go to any of these pages here at the bottom, click on the three dots, and click on Insert a New Page. And now you have a fresh canvas to work on. On this left side of the screen, this is going to be where all of your tools for Adobe Express are. You're going to have pictures and images, media, text, basically anything you can think of to add to your portfolio to build it and enhance it and make it the best that it can be. The search function is pretty helpful because it will allow you to search across all the different categories that Adobe has for you, any photos, videos, audio, backgrounds, anything that you want or could think of. You can use this search function to look through all of those, but you can also just go to an individual category if you know that what you specifically need is a background or an audio file. So this is pretty helpful. Keep it in mind. When you're going to build different slides in your portfolio, you probably have an idea of what you want to put on a particular slide. So for this tutorial, I'm going to focus on murmurations and build a slide around murmurations and show you just how I'm going to build the slide and what different tools I can use. And the first thing I'm going to do is use this search function to search for murmurations so that I can begin building a slideshow around that. Again, there's lots of different things in the search function that's going to pop up. For me, I think I want a picture. So I'm going to look at all these photos and I think I like this one. So I'm going to pull this picture in and it is now in my slide after just clicking on it. There's a lot of things that you can do with an image after you've added an image to your slide. You can remove the background. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Erase, change the opacity. There's different sorts of effects. You can flip the image. So explore those things. Let them help you build your portfolio. I think I want to crop this image, so you can do that by using these slides here on the side of the image, just so that I can get specifically that murmuration. And I think that's what I'm going to build my slide around. I'm going to make the image a little bit bigger. And I like how that looks, but I think it could be a little sharper. So I'm going to click on this image so that I can pull up these settings for it and go to adjustments. And these adjustments are going to let you play with the color, the saturation, anything like that. But I want to make it a little bit sharper. I like how that looks a little bit better. So now that I have my image in here, I know that I want to put some text into the slide. So I'm probably going to put the text over in this blank space here. And again, this is just a tutorial and I'm giving lots of examples, so don't feel like you have to follow anything exactly the way I do it. This is just to provide you with some tips and how to do a couple of different things in Adobe Express. I know that I want to put some text over here, but I don't want it to just be plain white because that's a little boring. And I do really like this image, and I think it would be interesting to have my eye drawn to that image again, perhaps as a background for my text. So I'm going to copy it by right-clicking on it, clicking copy, and then right-clicking and pasting. It doesn't look like it did anything, but if you click and drag here, you'll see that the image did copy and paste. And I'm going to bring that over here. Now this is just a background image and I don't want it to be on top of my other image here that's going to be the main focus of the slide. So there's this really great tool in Adobe called Layers. And if you look in the top right of the screen here, it's this little button with the arrows. You can pull up the different layers that is in your slide. So that's going to show everything that you put on your slide so far and allow you to move things so that you can have one thing on top of another or put things in the background. I want the second photo to be in the background, and I know that it's on the top right now, so I'm just going to click and drag it to be underneath. And I also don't really care to have extra photo here, so I'm just going to crop it again so it's just like this. And to make it a little more interesting, just as an aesthetic choice, I'm going to use this flip button to flip it upside down. And then I know that I'm going to be putting text on top of it, so I'm going to lower the opacity so that I know that my text will stand out pretty well on that photo. So there's lots of different things that you can do with images in Adobe Express to really make your slide stand out, make it creative, and help to add to the content of your slide. You can also use this upload button to upload some of your own files if there are photos that are not in Adobe Express that you've taken or that you found from other websites. You can download them to your computer and then upload them and add them into your portfolio that way. So the first thing that I'm going to do is title the slide. And Adobe Express is helpful and has lots of different text templates that you can choose from, but I'm going to just stick to the basics and click this Add Your Text button. And then you have all of these options that you can do with the text to change it, enhance it, make it what you want. For my portfolio, I know that there's a particular font that I like, so I'm going to click it, but you can also go through all of these fonts. When you're designing your portfolio, make sure that your font is legible, the size is good, all those kinds of logistical things that will make your portfolio not only aesthetically pleasing, but able to read the content and get a new understanding of what you're presenting in it. So I'm going to change that because this is the text that I want to use in my portfolio. So I'm going to use that throughout for the title pages. And I'm going to name this slide Murmurations. The text is automatically going to give you a size, but you can change the size either over here on the left side, and you can also change if it's regular or italic, and a few different things with shape that you might want to play with. What I find easiest to do as I'm working in a slide is to use these corners to make the text smaller or larger. And then I'm going to pull that over here. And I actually think it might look better if it's a little bit bigger. So you can kind of play around with that and see how it looks. You can also use this align button here at the top to put your text in particular parts of the page, the middle, left, any of those things. But it's also helpful to pay attention to these pink lines that pop up while you're moving your text, because that's going to help you align it in the specific slide that you've created. Now that I have my title, I'm going to add some text for what I've written about murmurations. Now, I already have some text on murmurations written outside of Adobe Express, and I would highly recommend doing this because typing and forming your responses in Adobe Express can be a little difficult, and it doesn't help you with anything like grammar or punctuation or typos. So I would recommend typing up your responses that you're going to put into your portfolio outside of the Adobe Express program, maybe in something like Google Docs or a Word doc file so that you can save it separately and then copy and paste that to bring it in here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another text box. And I want the text for my body to be different than the title so that the title stands out and the body text is not quite so stylized. So I'm going to come over here and change this to something that is a little more standard. And then I'm going to make it smaller and wider, maybe a little bit smaller, because I know that the text that I have is going to be quite a bit. And so I'm just going to get it ready to add in. I'm going to go to where I have my text, copy and paste it into Adobe Express file. Now, as you can see, that is still pretty big, so I'm going to make it smaller, bring it up. have to kind of play around with things and move them to get them exactly where you want. And that's about a 25 font size now. So let's see how that fits in here. You can do the same thing with the text as you do with the images by pulling it over a little bit and getting it just to where you like. So I think I like that text there, and I think I'm pretty happy with this page so far, but I do want to add a couple more things to enhance it and to make it a little bit more visually appealing. So I'm going to go over here to search and search for Starling. And I think I want a photo. I think I want to bring another photo into my slide. So I'm going to look at these photos specifically. And I think I like this one, but I don't want the background to interfere. So I'm going to use that background removal tool. That's going to help me blend my image in a kind of collage way. Oh, but I think I like that little perch that he was standing on. So if when you remove the background from an image and you find that there's something that you want to stay, you can come over here and click on the erase button. And there is a restore option. And it's helpful because there's a quick selection as well as a circle brush. I like to use the quick selection when possible because that makes it so I don't have to focus as much on getting everything. It's just going to quickly select that for me. And then I'm going to click on done and bring that down here a bit. I'll make him a little smaller so he's not interfering with my text. I think I'm really liking how this is turning out so far, but I want my text to stand out a bit more from this background image here. I'm noticing that it kind of blends in, and I really want that text to stand out and be able to be read. So one really cool element that you can do with Adobe Express that I use a lot, that we used a lot in the portfolio template, is coming over here to Elements on the left side, and then you're going to want to go to Shapes. Shapes are fun because there's a lot of them and you can really play with the size and design, but I'm going to use a rectangle. And then I'm going to bring it over here on top of my text so that I can match it up to the size that the text is. And I really like this color as well because it kind of matches with my image that I have here. But if you want to change color of anything, you can click on this fill button, choose colors here, make a custom color here, or you can even use this color swatcher to get different colors that are in the image so that your slide has a cohesive feel to it and that you're using all of the same colors that are there. So I might go with this color a little bit. I think I like this orange here. This rectangle is on top of my text, but I want it to come underneath. So again, I'm going to come over here to my layers, which I've left open on the right side. I'm going to click that rectangle and drag it underneath all of my text so that it shows up. Now, I do want this background image to come out more. I don't want it to just be completely blocked by this rectangle. So I'm going to come back over here on the left side and turn down the opacity of that shape. So some of that image does come through, but the text stands out a little bit better because it has a little bit of a background to be on top of. The last thing I'm going to show you after you have completed your slide, I think I would still want to work on this. I'd still want to add a couple of things to it, but that is just the basics. One last thing that you can do that's really helpful in Adobe Express is move the slide around on the bottom here. I just added a slide to the front page, to like the front section of my portfolio, but I might want to put it in a different section because I feel like it fits better there. So I can click that slide and drag it over to whatever section would work best for the particular content that I've written. So that is kind of the basics of Adobe Express, the basic kinds of tools that you're going to need for images and text and kind of moving things around, the layers, opacity. But again, like I said, it is a pretty big program, so feel free to explore all of these different things that you can do, experiment. Adobe Express has a lot of videos, tutorials on doing specific things within the platform, so you can check those out. You can look at those on the resources page of the template here. There are some resources where you can get images, where you can learn how to use Adobe Express. And of course, if you have any questions or need any help at all, please feel free to let me know. Come see me in the Honor Center and we can get working on your portfolio. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm so excited to see all of your work.